Hello and welcome to our broadcasting studio here at Vietnam Television. I'm Michael Liu and here's the top news for this hour. Vietnam Business Forum held in Bulgaria promoting the soon-to-be free trade agreement between Vietnam and the EU. Vietnam prepares for the year's biggest online shopping day, promoting the e-commerce sector. And finally, Vietnamese American Music Festival 2015 wraps up in Hanoi, delivering world-class performances to the Vietnamese public. Now, first off, Party General Secretary Chum held a meeting with a delegation of outstanding diplomats of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on Saturday in Hanoi. The meeting aimed to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the establishment of Vietnam's diplomacy.
The meeting was attended by outstanding diplomats, representing over 2,000 senior diplomats and 2,400 diplomats who are on duty. At the meeting, representatives commemorated remarkable achievements over the past 70 years, including the fundamental establishment by late President Ho Chi Minh. The sector's success includes negotiation at the Geneva Conference in 1954, the Paris Conference in 1973, as well as peacekeeping efforts in the contemporary period. Over the past 70 years, Vietnam's diplomacy has helped to liberate the country, maintain peace, expand relations, and integrate into the world.
Diplomacy has played a significant role in the country, in both wartime and, of course, today in the peaceful period. Solving problems diplomatically has been a tradition for decades in our country, and the country's diplomatic strategy has been developed over generations, especially during the presidencies of late President Ho Chi Minh.
Party General Secretary Chum also valued diplomats' professional competency and political stability in maintaining the party's achievements and promoting Vietnam's position internationally. He affirmed the party's determination to support the sector's future development.
The 47th ASEAN Economic Ministers meeting and related meetings opened on Saturday in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. At the meeting, Ministers of Economics agreed on an ultimate goal to promote the establishment of the ASEAN Economic Community by the end of 2015. The Vietnamese delegation, led by Deputy Minister of Industry and Trade Nguyen Cam Tu, participated in the meeting.
According to the most recent updates, ASEAN member countries have completed 91% of the overall roadmap towards the establishment of the AEC. In order to meet the set deadline, the countries have to finish another 46 measures.
At the meeting today, ministers from other countries ranked Vietnam's second place in terms of completing tasks. We have completed 94.5% of priority tasks, just 0.2% after Singapore. In the future, we have to focus on 3 areas in order to meet the deadline: service, transportation, and infrastructure.
Besides their determination to promote task completion, ministers also discussed fields that need more concentration from member countries. Non-tariff barriers and further support in the trade sector were 2 of the discussed subjects. Following the ASEAN Economic Ministers meeting, an array of related meetings between the ministers and other international partners will take place from today until August the 25th.
I would like to welcome our new colleague.
The 9th Vietnam Business Forum in Europe gathered businesses and Vietnamese diplomatic missions from 13 European countries in Varna, Bulgaria yesterday on August the 22nd. The event aimed to devise methods for overseas Vietnamese businesses in the EU to cope with economic difficulties in the region. The focus was on 3 great difficulties for Vietnamese businesses in Europe: the increasing demands from consumers due to the economic crisis recovery, the EU and Russia's search for new economic partners, and the upcoming free trade agreements between Vietnam and the EU. The forum also provided an occasion for overseas Vietnamese businesses in the EU to share knowledge and seek proper business solutions towards future sustainable development. Vietnam's crude oil currency incurred nearly $2.5 billion worth of value loss compared to the same period last year due to US oil prices decline to its lowest level in 6 years on Friday. Vietnam exported more than 5.7 million metric tons of crude oil as of August the 15th. The collapse of oil prices will affect the Vietnamese economy in both positive and negative ways, according to analysts. The downside is less crude oil exports. However, the country's production and manufacturing sector can benefit from low fuel, coal and gas prices. Consumers will also benefit from a lower petrol price. After the Ministry of Industry and Trade announced that Online Friday 2015 would be held on December the 4th, many events have been organised to promote businesses' awareness of this National Shopping Day. On August the 22nd, the first Meet Magento seminar in Asia took place in Hanoi as part of efforts to encourage and support online businesses in Vietnam. Hainan reports.
Magento is known as an open-source content management platform for e-commerce websites, used by nearly 300,000 businesses, including global brands like Nike or Olympus. Meet Magento is an annual series of conferences aiming to connect Magento users and e-commerce enterprises in general. This year, Hanoi was the first destination of Meet Magento in Asia.
Meet Magento is currently conference series. We are doing this worldwide, but we are independent. This means we are not Magento. So at the end, every Meet Magento will be organized by local companies, by a local community, Magento community, who wants to develop the market, who wants to structure the market.
Vietnamese enterprises are mostly small and medium-sized, and so they often face difficulties in developing an online distribution channel. One solution to this problem is using existing e-commerce website platforms. With an aim to spread awareness and connect the e-commerce community, the Saturday conference was part of the preparations for the Online Friday 2015 on December 4th. With one-third of its population being regular internet users, Vietnam is seen as a promising e-commerce market. 2015 is predicted to see another boom in the country's e-commerce. Such events like the Meet Magento Vietnam is expected to help Vietnamese online businesses to expand internationally and learn from their foreign counterparts. Currently, e-commerce in Vietnam is set to enter a growth period after fundamental conditions like policies, technology, payment and logistics services have been improved.
Vietnamese enterprises have now cared much about e-commerce and consider it as an important selling channel. For consumers, e-commerce makes it easier to examine and choose their products. Vietnamese enterprises should change their viewpoint on e-commerce. It should be considered as an online ecosystem rather than just a website. It should include banking, logistics, payment services, etc. All of them form a comprehensive system.
In fact, Online Friday is a prominent part of the government's strategy to develop an e-commerce ecosystem from 2014 to 2020. Last year, the first Online Friday was launched in Vietnam, with value of transactions totaling $7.5 million, 3 times higher than daily level. This year, the event organizers aim to boost the number of participating businesses and total transaction values even higher.
The Vietnamese Ministry of Transport held a working session with the Laotian and Cambodian Ministries of Public Works and Transport yesterday in Hanoi. This was the Vietnamese Transport Authority's bid to step up collaboration efforts to boost economic activities with neighbouring Cambodia and Laos. Vietnam and Laos affirms that the two sides will soon finalise collaborative strategies for the 2016 to 2025 period. The nations also aims to host the Vietnam-Laos-Thailand conference to discuss a joint road traffic project. Meanwhile, Cambodia and Vietnam committed to collaborate on maritime transport. According to the Ministry of Transportation, the transport infrastructure in the Mekong Delta cannot meet the growing demand of the region. The locality's key export products are agro-produce. Transportation plays a vital role in getting the products to the world. Improving infrastructure and incorporating the canal system in the transportation project are considered key tasks for the region. More to follow.
Many important transportation projects in the Mekong Delta have been upgraded to shorten the time for cargo traffic. However, in general, the roads are still narrow and crowded.
Infrastructure, especially public transportation, is a barrier, causing our production costs to increase, thus reducing our products' competitiveness.
Meanwhile, the huge potential of water transportation due to the vast river and canal system in the region has not been utilized. This firm specializes in rice export. These rice packages will be exported to Malaysia. However, they cannot be directly exported from Cần Thơ City. Instead, they are transported to Ho Chi Minh City first. If using trucks, each time they can only transport 25 tons. To cut costs, the export companies decided to use ships. Local enterprises want to export directly from local ports instead of passing through Ho Chi Minh City.
If products are transported directly from the Mekong Delta region, it will have lower costs from $5 to $10 per ton. So if it is 100,000 tons, the amount of money we can save is huge.
According to the Ministry of Transportation, traffic planning for the Mekong Delta will incorporate road and water transportation. In particular, Quan Chanh Bo Canal, a major project in the region, is expected to be completed by the end of this year.
We are working very hard to meet the deadline for this project. Once completed, goods will be exported directly from Cần Thơ instead of having to transit through Ho Chi Minh City.
Other important transportation projects are also expected to finish later this year, including the waterway corridor number 2 and 3 connecting Cà Mau, Kiên Giang and Ho Chi Minh City, or highway Trung Lương Mỹ Thuận Cần Thơ, expected to be operational before 2020.
Still to come on VTV News, Hanoi's top scholars in 2015 honoured, contributing to Vietnam's deep diplomatic roots of long history of academia. Vietnamese American Music Festival 2015 runs in Hanoi, delivering world-class performances to the Vietnamese public. Stay tuned for more to come right after the break.
Exotic Vietnam is an intriguing blend of many charms. This land is where all manner of stunning landscapes await like a visual feast, rivaled only by the beauty of its people and their abundantly rich tradition and culture. Here is where you can relive the past in richest color or live it up in the bright lights of the big city. With so much more to offer, Vietnam is simply unforgettable.
Welcome back to VTV News. Now, 98 top scholars of the university entrance exams in Hanoi attended a ceremony at the Temple of Literature this morning. Here, this year's top performers in Hanoi had their names recorded in the Book of Honour and participated in a conference. At the first ever Vietnamese university, the top examinees offered incense to the academic ancestors of Vietnam. Their names now stand alongside Vietnam's all-time exalted scholars. This group of distinguished students will be received by Deputy Prime Minister Vũ Đức Đam and featured on Hanoi television. These activities aim to motivate and promote talented academics to contribute more to the society. A performance-themed romantic orchestra took place on Saturday evening as part of the Vietnamese American Music Festival 2015, featuring a variety of joint performances by artists from different countries including Estonia and America. The event was a great opportunity for local and international artists to meet, exchange and share cultural experience. It also provided local classical music lovers with engaging and world-class performances.
This is a capriccio called Tây Nguyên, or the Central Highlands, performed by a string orchestra of Vietnamese artists and international chamber players, or ICP. ICP is a non-profit organization founded on the idea of music without borders. This year, ICP, in collaboration with Vietnam National Academy of Music, aims to create a unique combination of international artists.
Most of us don't speak the other language, but music, of course, as you'll hear everybody in the orchestra say, is a universal language, and we can play a certain way, and the other person hears it, and they'll respond in an appropriate way.
The Vietnamese musicians that I've met and that I'm playing with tonight are very high caliber musicians, very well trained, and are wonderful musicians. I very much enjoy playing with them.
Two Vietnamese artists who participated in the concert are violinist Bùi Công Duy and Vũ Trương, a chamber music artist currently living and working in the United States.
Âm nhạc là ngôn ngữ chung của các nghệ sĩ Việt Nam mình.
Music is a universal language. Therefore, the language barrier does not appear when the artists work with each other.
Về ngôn ngữ không có.
During the performance, the domestic and international artists collaborated on a classic songs in order to show audiences the beauty in blending the many cultures of East and West.
Không phải có nhiều cơ hội để có những nghệ sĩ hay nghệ sĩ của hai.
There are not many opportunities for artists who come from different countries to collaborate with each other in such a high quality. During the performance, we can see the professional and passionate, the blending of two cultures.
Có thể là hai nền văn hóa.
The event is expected to be organized on a yearly basis. It is not only a platform for Vietnamese artists to meet and exchange with those from other countries, but it also provides Vietnamese classic music lovers with an interesting and world-class performance.
An exhibition dedicated to Chum culture in the south-central coastal province of Ninh Thuận is currently being hosted at the Ares Provincial Museum. The event features over 200 exhibits and 92 pictures depicting the beauty of the Chum people in Ninh Thuận province. These exhibits include documents written on various textures, traditional attires, sculptures and homewares. More notably, this is also the first time visitors can behold recently unearthed findings from the excavation project at Hoa Lai Tower, the oldest and most beautiful Champa Tower in Vietnam. The exhibition is part of a series of events to celebrate the 70th year of the August Revolution and National Day, and will run until November the 15th, 2015. A 2-week nationwide film festival celebrating the 70th anniversary of the August Revolution and Vietnam's National Day is happening now in Hanoi. The Prophet, one of the screened films featuring late President Ho Chi Minh, has made its debut to audiences on this occasion. We'll learn more about the film in the following report.
The Prophet recreates a time of suffering and sacrifice full of legendary achievements in Vietnam's history, when President Ho Chi Minh led Vietnam's people in the fight against colonialism in the Viet Bắc military zone. The film gives audiences a more comprehensive look at Uncle Ho, whose strategic vision and undying will to bring peace to the country led the nation to victory.
Not only Vietnamese, but people worldwide also acknowledge President Ho Chi Minh as an outstanding leader and a great man. We just researched more about how close Uncle Ho was to the people at that time. The research itself was already an interesting task.
People's artist Bùi Bài Bình was cast to play late President Ho Chi Minh. To Bình, the performance is both an honor and a challenge.
Through my character and the context of our country in wartime, I hope that young generations will receive the film, understand more and never forget a hard yet meaningful time for our country, as well as individual contributions that strengthened national liberation efforts.
With a length of 100 minutes, The Prophet is the first film to use a new technique that works for both big and small screens. It took the film crew 3 months to complete the film, but 6 years to research it. More than just a feature film, The Prophet expresses the film crew's gratitude to late President Ho Chi Minh.
Now's the time to look back at the highlights of this week's news.
Vietnam celebrates the 70th anniversary of the August Revolution on Wednesday. This was the first victory of the Vietnamese people under the leadership of the Communist Party, marking a milestone in Vietnam history. The victory put an end to feudalism and colonialism in the country. As part of the celebrations, State President Trương Tấn Sang met with war veterans from 308 Division, Army Corps 1 and 3rd Division of Military Zone 1 on Monday. The president said the party and state always remembered and remained grateful for the contributions made by the army to the country's defense and development. Also on the occasion, the Vietnam Fatherland Front Central Committee held a meeting in Hanoi on Wednesday with the revolutionary veterans who directly took part in the general uprising in Hanoi on August 19, 1945. At the meeting, the delegates reviewed the victory of the August Revolution that helped people, particularly the working class and the poor, liberate themselves and the country to establish the Democratic Republic of Vietnam.
The Central Advisory Council on Amnesty met in Hanoi on Saturday to review the proposed list of amnesty recipients before submitting it to the state president on the occasion of National Day, September 2nd. The meeting was chaired by Deputy Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc. More than 18,000 cases are currently under review. At the meeting, Deputy Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc called for more focus on reintegrating former inmates into normal life. Vocational training should be strengthened to give them a chance to earn a decent living. Since 2009, the government has granted amnesty 5 times for over 63,000 prisoners. Amnesty bolsters trust in the party and the state's lenient and humane policy. Vietnam's amnesty is carried out in strict accordance with the law in a democratic, transparent, and public manner.
The 6th International Conference on Public Finance took place on August 17th and 18th this week in the central city of Da Nang. The conference was held between 4 parliamentary committees from Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia and Myanmar, along with the participation of international economic experts and financial institutions. The conference came to the conclusion that improving the quality of the National Assembly's supervisory work in finance and budgetary areas will raise the efficiency of investment resources, budget disbursement, and map out appropriate directions for economic development and global integration. The conference ended with all four countries agreeing to strengthen cooperation between legislatures.
The 47th ASEAN Economic Ministers meeting and related meetings opened on Saturday in Kuala Lumpur. Deputy Minister of Industry and Trade Nguyen Cam Tu led the Vietnamese delegation. Regional economic integration throughout the ASEAN Economic Community, or AEC, is a key focus of the meeting. From August 22nd to 25th, economic ministers from Southeast Asia will iron out details for the AEC, a plan for a single market and production base among the 10 member states of ASEAN. The deadline to formally launch the regional trading bloc is December 31st, 2015. More than 91% of the AEC blueprint measures have been implemented, with another 46 measures to go. Despite the economic challenges facing all ASEAN states, the countries are committed to staying the course of regional economic integration.
The State Bank of Vietnam raised the value of the dong by 1% and loosened its exchange band from +-2% to +-3% as of Wednesday. The interbank Vietnamese dong US dollar exchange rate has been raised from 21,673 Vietnamese dong per US dollar to 21,890 Vietnamese dong per US dollar. According to the State Bank of Vietnam, the exchange band was first raised from +-1% to +-2% the previous week to deal with the devaluation of the Chinese yuan, the most significant in the past 2 decades.
Two U.S. Navy ships docked at Tiên Sa port in the central coastal city of Da Nang on Monday. A U.S. hospital ship and a military Sea Lift Command joint high-speed vessel are joining a 12-day humanitarian mission on August 17th to the 28th as part of the ongoing U.S. Navy-led Pacific Partnership 2015, or PP-15 mission. While in Da Nang, the medical staff aboard is performing roughly 25 surgical procedures, working in conjunction with Operation Smile. They are also conducting subject matter expert exchanges on various medical and disaster relief topics, dental care, and engineering civil action programs.
Now, just before we wrap up this edition of VTV News, please check out the latest weather update of selected cities around the world. That's it for our newscast. Now do log on to vtv4.vn or youtube.com/vtv4go for more of our content. Goodbye for now and see you in the last bulletin of the day.